Welcome to Breaking Solo, how solopreneurs break barriers, build brands, and embrace the future of business. Welcome to Breaking Solo, how solopreneurs break barriers, build brands, and embrace the future of business.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Breaking Solo. My guest today is Sebastian Uzcategui.
It's Uzcategui. Yeah, nice try though.
I even made myself notes and I still messed it up. But thank you so much for being with me today. And tell the audience who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. Well, like you said, my name is Sebastian Uzcategui, and I am a public speaker by trade. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 16 years old. I'm an immigrant. I come from Venezuela, and I came here. My family came here to pursue the American dream. But what I found when they weren't walking the entrepreneurial path was this is a system that's, it's sink or swim. It is, eat or be eaten. And if you're not taking advantage of the tools that exist in this system to actually leverage yourself, there's no American dream. There's only an American trap, right? So I became an entrepreneur at the age of 16. I kept scaling my businesses. I started my current business at the age of 20, and I've been running that ever since.
Wow, that's amazing. So what did you start at 16?
At 16, it was just a small clothing brand. I was still in school, so I was just kind of still experimenting with the whole idea of entrepreneurship.
Awesome. I love that. Okay, so now we know what inspired you to go solo in business. You didn't always think this was going to be your path, did you?
I knew that I always wanted more because growing up, I'm an only child, an immigrant only child, and I always saw my parents, they're always working just to be able to survive, 12-hour shifts almost every day. And to me, that was not the life that I wanted to live, right? So from a very young age, I knew that there had to be more. I knew that that wasn't what life was, what my calling was. So I was always experimenting with ideas. So I taught myself how to invest at 14, became an entrepreneur at 16. And today I own a couple of businesses, but my primary is my public speaking agency, which helps people become public speakers like myself and be able to scale their businesses that way.
Awesome. That's amazing. So what's been your biggest challenge in your
Oh,
solopreneur journey?
I would definitely say my biggest challenge was always that of marketing. I would say with almost everyone my age as an entrepreneur or any new wave entrepreneurs, the truth is traditional marketing doesn't really work the same way that it used to. It's a very different world today. And all the people that I grew up watching, the entrepreneurs that I grew up watching, they achieve success through ways that largely don't work today. So that was my biggest challenge. I had a long time where I was just trying to get my businesses off the ground and nothing seemed to really work.
Yeah. So talk about change. I started my first marketing agency in 1986. And we did direct mail. And then I had women that worked from home, which was unheard of at the time, making telemarketing calls behind those direct mail pieces. That would never work today.
Very different world today. Very, very different world. And that's, you asked me about what my biggest challenge was. That's how I began to kind of overcome it. I began to think, what is the world that we're looking at today? Right. And it's so different because now we see an oversaturation of entrepreneurs, first and foremost, and we see an oversaturation of sales pitches where everywhere that you scroll online, it's just people trying to make sales to you. It's some guy with a rented car behind him making these ads, and that's it. It's over and over and over again. So there's a lack of authenticity, there's a lack of connection, and a lack of trust. So, imagine having a business and realizing there's so much potential, but nothing works the way it used to. Right? That's when I began public speaking. That's when I realized, hey, I want to connect with people. I want to show that what I do is authentic, that I live, breathe, and bleed for what I do. And the only way to make a message and a purpose resonate with people in a way that you get to connect with everyone, it is public speaking. That is the only way. So to me, that is, in my opinion, I know you do marketing, so you can share with me a little some of your thoughts, but public speaking is the most effective form of marketing, in my opinion.
You might be right. we actually have a publishing company as well, and
Yeah,
we
awesome.
encourage our clients to write an authority book
Yes, I
and then
love that.
use that book as a marketing tool to get them speaking engagements on
Wow,
pod
that's incredible.
all of that stuff. So you might be right, but they need that marketing tool first.
Yep. I completely agree. Actually, a lot of my bigger speakers, they come from already having a book published and they're looking for the next big step. So, and I completely agree. Having a book, that is, it is an icon of authority for any entrepreneur, right? So I actually am partnered up with some publishers for that reason. I send some of my speakers that don't have books to get some out. It is so important. It is so crucial. And the beautiful thing about it is, again, a millionaire should have at least 7 streams of income most of the time. Being a speaker knocks out like 4 of them in one go, because speaking in and of itself is already a 6-figure career. Pair that with a book, that's another stream of income. If you have a business that you're using while you're speaking to also sell, that's another stream of income right there. And the whole time, really, your connections or even your ability to teach others, that's another business right there. That's 4 stream of incomes, all from one talent, and that is having the courage to put your message out into the front row of the world.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. So, how did you find your unique niche in the marketplace?
Well, it was just by developing that talent more. My first business, my first big business, adult business after my small clothing brand at 16, was in finances. And it was such a big obstacle, right? Because again, the world has lack of trust, connection, and authenticity. So I stumbled upon my niche almost accidentally after 5-ish years of just struggling and struggling, trying to get everything off the ground. I was in the struggling 5 figures range forever. And then I got on one stage, spoke one time because I got invited. It was it was a beautiful church that I spoke for. And suddenly everything blew up. I just catapulted into the 6-figure range and beyond. So that's when I realized, man, this is the new direction that the world is going to begin to move in. And we've already been seeing it. Podcast culture, talk culture, that's all been on the rise for a while. And it's for a reason. People crave that today.
Yeah. That's because I think COVID pushed us into wanting more personal connections
Right. Absolutely.
because we were so far behind in that area. So, what industry trends do you think solopreneurs should be paying attention to now?
Well, I didn't study marketing in school or anything of that means, but marketing is crucial. And it is one of those games that you almost can't learn about in a college. You have to just be boots on the ground, because traditional marketing, it doesn't work how it used to. It's so volatile. Everything is changing so aggressively. So I would say all solopreneurs need to be thinking, where are people going? And more importantly than where are they going is, where are they listening? Because a lot of the problems that you get in sales and marketing is, hey, you can be here and your post can get 20,000 views and you won't get a single client. And I speak from experience. I once spent $20,000 on ads and didn't get a single client from it, right? And it's because people just scroll through them. Yeah, imagine that. People just scroll through that stuff today, you know? So it's not about where people are exclusively. It's also about where they're listening, where their hearts are. So as a solopreneur, the main trend that I would say to focus on is, think about where you're going to get received best and think outside the box. Marketing today is a game of thinking outside the box.
Yeah, you're right. So, do you see any shifts happening that could change the way solopreneurs manage their future work?
Yeah,
And
I see one huge shift. And really, so I see the whole world moving towards this whole AI direction, and that's great. It's great to have AI in the background, but the problem is, so many people are putting AI in the foreground, and it's getting shoved in everyone's face. And the same thing that I just spoke about is happening at a more extreme pace now, where people are craving authenticity. They are running away from this endless content that now you almost feel a little silly scrolling through social media, because it's all AI. None of it is real, and you're here consuming it when you should be producing, right? So the main shift that I see in the world happening today is again, it has a lot to do with that authenticity, that craving for more. I've been to a lot of networking events, and I see they are so flooded with people. A lot of those people that are there aren't even entrepreneurs. They're literally just looking for things, looking for ways, looking for solutions. So positioning yourself in a way where you can stand apart from all of this, generation, this AI generation stuff, this slop, it's gonna always make you stand out more. Being a man, being a real human being in this world, it's gonna really take over in today's age. And I think I encourage everyone, once again, have a voice. Like you said, publish a book, become a speaker, get on some podcasts. There's no way that you don't see traction through those means today.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so what's one tool, app, or resource that you can't live without in your business?
Well, me personally, I think my strongest resource is my team. It's always been my team. I believe every entrepreneur by nature is a leader. You have to be a leader to be an entrepreneur. And with my team, I have a team. At one point, we're up to 40 people. To me, they're indispensable. To me, they're everything. They're everything because they're working boots on the ground so much to do all the things that would take me a month to do. They're doing it in a day, right? All combined with their efforts. And the reason why that's so crucial is because as an entrepreneur, you are not. I mean, you can be that expert in a field. Sure, you can dedicate 5 years and become an expert, maybe in engineering or programming or computer science, whatever it may be, right? But that's just one thing. As an entrepreneur, your job is to be a leader, is to be able to multiply your efforts, is to be able to multiply your income and grow and grow and grow and scale, right? So the one thing that I would say, not just to myself, but to everyone that should be indispensable is a team. You have to build a team of like-minded, very strong people that are working with you side by side on whatever it is that you're doing. So for example, I have my agents that are working for me, always putting my name out there on so many different events, so many different networking events, stages, whatever it may be. I've spoken, thanks to them, I've spoken on TV, I've spoken at the United Nations, I've spoken on TED. I've been around quite a bit thanks to them. And it is all because of an entrepreneur deciding that the direction is leadership.
That's incredible. I think though, and I experienced this myself, it's hard when you're a solopreneur and you have to let go of something, and let somebody else do it then they don't have to do it exactly the way you did. You have to be able to let it go and let them do it their way as long as they're getting the results.
Absolutely. And I actually have a book here. I'm not sure if yep, right here. I always keep it right here with me. It's so funny that you mentioned that. A book that I love, I read a lot, but this one is Leadership Skills That Inspire Incredible Results. And now what I love about this is you would think that leadership has to do with you, and everything that you do for your team, but it's quite the opposite, actually. What makes a real leader is actually inspiring others to take the wheel. Right? If you're a micromanager, if you're telling your team what to do at all times, you're not doing leadership. You're just a boss and an annoying one at that.
Exactly.
But in reality, what I realized was going to help my team flourish more. And this, man, you'd be so surprised with what these guys do. I mean, you don't even see this in corporations. You don't see employees that go out of their way for greatness. You don't really see that in corporations, but you see that in my team. And the reason why is because I give them the full freedom to pursue whatever ideas that they have, right? So I'm inspiring them to come up with solutions. As a leader, you can be a leader of men, which just makes you a boss. But when you're a leader of leaders, that is where it really shines. So I don't employ anyone that isn't ready to take the wheel. So when I work with them, I'll tell them, listen, this is the goal. Whatever gets us to this goal, go for it. Whatever. If you're thinking outside of the box, if you want to use resources outside of what I'm sending you or showing you, go for it. I encourage creativity, and I even pay them extra if they find creative solutions to problems. I always tell everyone, you're just one creative or smart decision away from more success than you could have ever imagined. And I want to make sure that all the people working with me are of that mentality.
That's amazing. Good for you.
Thank you.
Okay. So what's one piece of advice that you'd give to someone just starting their solopreneur journey?
Man, there's just so much. There's a lot of different things that you can think about as you're starting off. And I think one of the main things that I wish I knew when I started was you really just have to pick one thing. One thing, make it clear, make it simple, and move forward. That's all you have to do. Today more than ever, there's what's called the shiny object syndrome. And I got stuck in that in my early 20s. I was doing real estate. I had an Amazon FBA business. I had my finance business. I was trying to do a million things at once, right? And none of it worked. And I realized it's because how can you ever expect anything in life to work with not 100% effort? Relationships, school, businesses, if you're only giving about 20%, nothing is going to succeed. So I realized the only way forward as an entrepreneur is to go all in. So I went all into my one business of finance, and that is what I kept doing until it worked. Find one thing that you like, stick with it, make it work. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. And most importantly is find a way to scale. Always do everything with scaling in mind, with exponential growth in mind, and you'll find it come to you.
Great advice. Thank you. Okay. Do you have any exciting projects coming up that you want to share?
Well, I would say so. Yeah, I've got so many events coming up for public speaking. Some of my speakers are going to be on there. Myself, I'm going to be on there. But my main project right now is just continuing to scale up my business of public speaking. That is really my passion today. And I've already put some great speakers out into the forefront of the world, which is great. But I want to find more and more and more. That's always the mission because I want to put leaders out into the world. I want to put the right voices into the right stages because, frankly, we're not listening to the right people all the time. And some of the greatest people with the greatest stories are buried under the fact that they might not have the strongest voice, that they may not have the strongest connections to the strongest stages. And that's a tragedy. That some of the most brilliant minds just go to die simply because they lack articulation or they lack a platform. So that's really my purpose today, is just giving that platform to other people.
That's amazing. Well, I wish you the best at doing that, getting more leaders out there in the world. That's an awesome goal. So where can people connect with you and learn more about what you do?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, just by searching up my name, you'll see a couple of my websites and the places that I've spoken at. But the best way to get in touch with me, you'll see my number and contact info, is on my website, which is speakup.express. That or my other website of finance, which is stocksuni.com. Either of those two is fine, but I prefer, you'll see a calendar link on speakup.express where people can schedule times with me, which I much prefer. I'm an entrepreneur based in purpose, so I like to work and speak with everyone directly.
Good for you. All right, folks, the information will be in the show notes. So if you missed anything, you can find it there. And Sebastian, I have really enjoyed having you on the podcast today. You are an energetic go-getter. I can just can say that for sure.
Thank you so
So
much. It's been an
thank you
honor
for
to be
being
here.
here. Yeah, thank you. All right. All right, folks. If you have not subscribed, please do so. And then leave us a review. We would certainly appreciate it. And we'll see you next episode. Thank you.